Welcome to the 2010 Relay for Life of Wilmington. I am excited to be here. I'm excited that you're participating. And to start off tonight, we're going to have Stephanie Weymouth sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang the land, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Stephanie. At this moment, I'd like to introduce the town manager, Mike Kyra, for some welcoming sentiments.
Thank you very much, Joe, and welcome everybody to this glorious field on this glorious day. It's a pleasure to represent the town of Wilmington and to welcome all of you, both residents of Wilmington and friends, to our wonderful community. And it is certainly exemplified by a recent graduate of the class of 2010, Stephanie Weymouth. What a wonderful job, what a wonderful rendition. And if you haven't heard, folks from Wilmington, you won, thanks to you, in the Save the Fourth contest sponsored by Liberty Mutual. 10 communities in America, one of them Wilmington, a $10,000 grant. We just found out. Thank you very much. You did that. And I mention that because it's very much a part of who we are in Wilmington and why this event is so successful and why last year's event really gave notice to this community and all of you for the work that you do for this wonderful, wonderful cause that for many of us is incredibly personal. To Joe Martinello and the Martinello family and to Tom Sears for his work and to all of you, all of the various subcommittee chairmen and the captains and everybody who participates, all of the walkers and all of those who have donated, your contribution means so very much to so very many. I think this is an example of love and of faith, and it is an inspiration for all of us, an inspiration especially for me that I stand in front of these wonderful people who are behind me, who represent and exemplify what's right about this world and the courage and bravery and strength that they bring to all of us here in Wilmington, and to them we express our tremendous and our deep affection and gratitude. I cannot think of a prouder time to be the town manager in this community. It's been a great privilege of mine to serve all of you for the past 20 years. And I think that what you are doing today represents what is the best in all of us. And so the only message that I really want to leave you with is something that I believe in very, very strongly. And I think that it captures, at least for me, what this day is about and what this, the meaning of what you are doing and what we are all doing is about. Of all the forces that make for a better world, None is so powerful as hope. With hope, one can think, one can work, one can dream. If you have hope, you have everything. I have hope. Join me this weekend in expressing that hope for all of the wonderful people that we walk for today. Thank you very much.
At this point, I'd like to invite Amanda Hollenbach up to speak on behalf of Jen Wasson. Jen Wasson is the American Cancer Society representative who's worked with us all year long. Jen has 3 relays tonight, and she had to decide which one to go. She'll be here later on, and we told her we might put her in the dunk tank, so that's kind of her punishment for not being here the entire time. But with that, Amanda has a message from Jen that we'd like to share with all of you.
Hello everyone. I am so sorry that I couldn't be here in Wilmington with you tonight for such an amazing event. Thank you all so much for coming out to the relay to raise funds and awareness for the fight against cancer. By participating in Relay, you are helping to create a world with more birthdays. You are helping people stay well, helping people get well, and you are helping us find cures and fight back so that you and millions of others just like you can celebrate more birthdays. So how are you doing this? The money raised at Relay is helping people stay well through our early detection and prevention programs, our Active for Life, and our Quit Smoking campaigns. The money raised at Relay is helping people get well. Our 1-800-ACS-2345 number allows someone to call and talk to a real person any day of the week at any time. We have our Reach to Recovery program, Man to Man, Road to Recovery, Look Good, Feel Better, Hope Lodge, and so many more services for those battling cancer. To sign up for one of these programs or to volunteer, all you have to do is call the 1-800-ACS-2345 and we will put you in touch with the right person. It's just that easy. The money raised at Relay is also helping us find cures and fight back. You have helped fund 44 Nobel Prize winners, and you have helped us discover important new treatments like tamoxifen for breast cancer, and with your support, we were able to increase the cigarette tax, thus ensuring that thousands of teenagers will never start smoking. Your fundraising supports all of these great programs and advances by being a member of the Relay for Life of Wilmington. Your support of Relay gives the American Cancer Society the ability to support those battling cancer in the Wilmington community, and for that, I cannot say thank you enough. So thank you for helping to make a difference one birthday at a time. Because of you, one day, no one will have to fear the words, "You have cancer." Thank you for your time, thank you for your support, and thank you for your dedication. I hope you all have a wonderful time at Relay for Life of Wilmington. You rock!
As I mentioned earlier, I'm the event chair for the Relay for Life of Wilmington event. I'm also a lifelong resident of Wilmington. I attended my first Relay event in Burlington, Mass. In 2008 and knew this was something we needed to have in our town. In the summer of 2008, I reached out to the American Cancer Society to find out what was involved in bringing the event to the town, and the rest is just history. I pulled together a committee. We worked closely with the town and the school system to launch the Relay for Life of Wilmington. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome back our 2009 participants and congratulate them all on our record-breaking year. Wilmington's 2009 inaugural event was #1 new relay event in all of New England. In addition to that, we were #2 in the nation. We also set the New England record, historically. But I wanted to inform you that this year, Pelham, New Hampshire will beat that record. For that, I'm excited for that community. I reached out to both of the event chairs prior to the event to offer up some words of encouragement, and I'm proud to say that they were at $161,000 raised immediately following their event. They have fundraising until August 31st, so they will definitely surpass our record last year and hopefully get #1 in the nation. So Relay is my night job, and my day job, I'm in marketing. So for next year's promotional materials, Relay for Life, Wilmington 2011, the Massachusetts record holder for new relays. We no longer have the New England, but we still have Massachusetts. For those of you who were here last year and heard me speak, I became involved with Relay for Life, and this year I'd like to share with you the reasons why last year I spoke about why I got involved with Relay for Life. This year I'd like to discuss why I dedicate the time as well. Back in 1982, when I was 5 years old, my aunt passed away from lung cancer. I remember that time period when she passed away, but until I was in high school, I never knew it was from cancer. I made something up in my mind, so that leads me to my first reason on why I relay. Relay is an opportunity for adults to talk with children about cancer. This event helps bring the topic to the forefront. In 2002, my Uncle John passed away from prostate cancer. I remember my uncle battling cancer when I was in high school in the 90s and going into remission, but unfortunately cancer came back. That brings me to reason number 2. This is a strong disease, and we need to continue to ensure that the research companies have the spending money on fighting this disease, and they get that additional support from the American Cancer Society. I'm going to stop for a second and talk about my family. My parents are both immigrants from Italy and moved here when they were kids. My mom is the youngest of 10. My father is the youngest of 6. The reason I tell you this, I have over 40 first cousins. So as I continue on, you'll get some appreciation on how much cancer has actually impacted my life. We are a very close family. And with a close family and such a large family, there are certain family members you'll become closer with. In 2004, my Uncle Jerry Visconti was diagnosed with lung cancer, and my immediate family's world was turned upside down. In 2005, he lost that battle. To honor my uncle and others in my family, my wife Kim and I gave out Live Strong bracelets at our wedding that year. In attendance was Kim's aunt Rosemary Nyland, who neglected to tell us she was battling cancer again. In 2008, she lost her battle. The same summer, Ziadalina Martinello was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she lost her battle last spring. I'm sure it's obvious at this point in my speech the next reason why I relay. I relay to honor my loved ones that have passed on. The next reason I relay is really important to me. I relay to raise money for the American Cancer Society so they continue to offer the patient services to those battling the disease. Did you know that the American Cancer Society has an online community for survivors and their families called the Our Cancer Survivors Network to help survivors and their families connect with others who have been touched by cancer, to share their experiences and support one another? Have you heard of the Our Reach Recovery Program? It's a support program designed to link newly diagnosed breast cancer patients with knowledgeable breast cancer survivors. Then there is the Road to Recovery program that provides free transportation for cancer patients to and from treatment centers. Oh, and let's not forget the Look Good, Feel Better workshops that teach women beauty techniques to enhance their appearance and self-image during treatments. There were over 50 treatment centers that held workshops in Massachusetts. So I relate to support those programs and the other services the American Cancer Society offers. To many communities across the nation, I was amazed by the different services that the American Cancer Society offers and happy to learn about all of this being offered in New England. I urge you to go to cancer.org to learn more about these treatment programs. Thank you all for your participation in the event and for all your hard work fundraising to ensure that the American Cancer Society continue giving back to us. My final reason on why I relay is rather simple. I relay because I can. Thank you for letting me take some time to explain why I relay. Prior to shifting to the next speaker, I'd like to call out a couple of my family members, that without their support, I would not be able to do what I do for this event. So Dottie, my in-laws have been crucial in helping out. Kim and I are very fortunate to have a great support network. One of the younger committee members, Rose and Anthony, my niece and nephew, they're at every committee meeting. And without their help, we would not be able to continue doing this. My best friend, my sister. Put the camera down, Mom. My mother is just so inspirational to me. Both of my parents are, and that's why I'm here today. Come on, Kim. My wife, Kim. I've been up. There are nights I'm up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we have a newborn. Kim's getting up in the morning to help with Olivia. So without her support throughout this process, I would not be able to stand. And finally, but not least, my little girl, Olivia. She has been to every meeting. She has... For any parent out there, you know what it takes to take time away from your children. So she has been just amazing. And I just wanted to take a moment and thank all of them, because without their support, I wouldn't be able to be here and help run this event. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Morpho Detection. Morpho Detection this year donated $5,000 to Relay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marcy Morris. I am so proud to speak in behalf of Morpho Detection and very humbled to speak in behalf of Relay for Life. Excuse me. I was asked to say a few words about why, as a corporation, we Relay. And I wasn't prepared for this at all, but you know what? It's a no-brainer. In corporate life, every once in a while, or more often than we would like to think, one of our employees leaves one day at work smiling and laughing, and then they're out for a few days and they return only to tell us that their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, their daughter, their baby has been diagnosed with cancer. This turns our company upside down for months at a time. Well, we try and give them hope, we try and give them love, we try and give them support. But as a community and as a corporation, it turns us upside down because there's nothing we can do. I am so proud of the company I work for and how we work for Relay. We started Relay 3 years ago when we dedicated our Relay to Laura Zampel, who was at that time 40 years old with a 10-year-old son. Today their father and her husband Jimmy is gone, and I Relay for Jimmy, I Relay for Laura and Joey. And as a Wilmington resident, I lost my 42-year-old beloved friend in Wilmington. I hope one of his family members are here, Chuck Aberly, who was the light of my life, one of the best friends to me and my husband. And my world was turned upside down because in 18 months he lost his battle and left behind two of the most wonderful parents and siblings and a son. And I will never stop relaying for this cause. And I thank you for letting me speak.
sure what else I can add to that, but I think as Morpho Detection, we are proud, and Marcy said, we're proud and honored to be here. We're ecstatic that we were able to bring the Relay for Life, that there was a Wilmington Relay for Life, that Joe was able to bring it to the community. We've been doing it for 3 years. We missed last year. We were in Woburn. We're happy to be here this year and very proud to be able to represent the community that we're here for. As a corporation, our strategic vision is to protect people, assets, and communities. I hear that every day from our CEO and what we're doing, and I can't see how Relay for Life can fulfill that vision any better. So selling the $5,000 was really easy. But again, well, I'll do what I can. But thank you for letting us be here, Joe, and thank you for running this event. It's awesome.
At this point, I'd like to invite Angela Cairo up. So at this point in the ceremony, we're going to switch over and hear from our survivors. So we have 2 survivors that will be speaking tonight, and tonight we'll start off with Angela.
Thank you, Joe, first of all, for giving me the opportunity to speak. It's an honor to be invited to do so. And a special thank you, too, to the 4 teams that are here representing in part my battle, Team Boubettes, Shawshane Tech Rams, Cancer Crushers, and the Angela's Angels. Bring it on. Thank you all so much. So before I begin actually giving you my speech, I just want to remind everyone that, of course, I agree with the sentiment that this is a cruel and unforgiving disease. But my message is simply meant to express how I've chosen to live with this cruel and unforgiving disease. So I dedicate my fight to all those who have fought. Cancer, like many diseases, can be terrifying, exhausting, and overwhelming. Very often, the patient is identified as a victim and is immediately confronted with the awfully daunting yet inevitable reality that death is going to strike. Perhaps this realization is even more troublesome for the caretakers. Interestingly enough, death is going to strike with or without cancer. But we tend to overlook that and scare ourselves into believing that it's going to knock on our door at the very moment of diagnosis, when in truth, we're surrounded by the prospect of death each day, regardless of cancer. Patients, me included, tend to struggle with the uncertainty of treatment options, side effects, and of course, survival rates and statistics. We wonder which course to choose, which path is the right one, which chemotherapy will kill the tumor, or in my case, multiple tumors, and how much radiation should I allow my body to endure. All of these thoughts and questions infiltrate the mind of a newly diagnosed cancer patient as we marinate our own ideas and beliefs around treatment compared with that of what our doctors advise. We wonder with careful contemplation what to do, how to live, and most importantly, how to beat this life-threatening illness. Unfortunately, while all those dilemmas creep up and occupy our lives, we forget sometimes that life is still beautiful. Simple treasures are precious. And cancer is just that, cancer. Never in a million years would I suggest or intend to imply that cancer isn't a big deal, and obviously it isn't something to trivialize. However, I firmly believe how we conquer this disease is done so with the mind, and the medicine that treats us is just an added bonus. As a counselor, I learned very early that listening is an art, not a skill. I believe the same to be true about attitude. At 33 years young, I never expected to be diagnosed with breast cancer, let alone metastatic breast cancer, especially when only 10% of patients initially diagnosed are stage 4. After all, I thought I had pulled a muscle, or at worst, a torn ligament. To hear that I had cancer was a foreign concept. However, not once did I even so much as pause to think or ask, why me? To the contrary, I was relieved that I was the one who got diagnosed, instead of my mother, sister, grandmother, aunts, or cousins. I was instantly consoled by the fact that I was diagnosed and not someone else, not a best friend or family member. Perhaps you're thinking to yourselves, yeah, right, she's full of it. But I can assure you that I'm speaking sincerely from the heart. Obviously, I did not wish for this disease as I blew out the candles on my 32nd birthday. And despite the fact that I've always enjoyed a challenge, I could have most definitely done without this one. But I made a deliberate and immediate decision not to dwell and absolutely not to pity myself, hence where my attitude played a major role. It still puzzles me when I'm applauded for my strength and courage. I am flattered and a bit surprised when people refer to me as an inspiration and tell me how amazing I am. I don't understand it. The truth is, I'm just being myself pre-cancer. I believe the secret to beating cancer is to not allow it to beat you. Don't lose sight of your identity, and don't forget that above all, you are still the same person you were before you heard the dreadful news. I encourage everyone to take a moment to reflect on a time in your life when you thought of only despair, the loss of a loved one, a relationship gone badly, a natural disaster, or a national tragedy even. Think of that moment and ask yourself how you got through it. Now substitute that moment with cancer and adopt a belief that you or your loved one will indeed beat this disease. Regardless of how many years you live with cancer or whether or not you ever experience remission, I truly believe you beat this disease the moment you accept your diagnosis. You accept the fight with grace and dignity, and the battle is won. Prior to getting officially diagnosed, my oncologist and I locked eyes and shared an unspoken and unforgettable moment where we both knew undoubtedly that the biopsy would reveal a malignant tumor. He took my hands and simply said, "I'm going to fix you up." Those 6 words, nearly exactly repeated by my father on the day we received confirmation of my diagnosis, became permanently engraved in my mind. I chose on both occasions to believe these 2 wise and intelligent men. I could have opted not to believe, but what good would have resulted in that? Every moment I wake up with the notion that this could be the day I get fixed. I don't consider the alternative because it's a waste of my energy. I don't know when my day will arrive, but the element of surprise has always intrigued me. Granted, I don't particularly enjoy surprises like the one I received a little over a year ago, but I could think of a lot worse things to happen. It was just over a year ago that my fight began. I returned home from a 2-night getaway with a very dear girlfriend, and I finally decided to get an x-ray. I had been suffering from pain in my leg and my hip for about 7 months, but never made time for the doctor because my schedule was very hectic and my pain tolerance extremely high. The technician found a shadow, and days later it was determined to be a mass. In my heart of hearts, I knew I had cancer, even though all the desperate voices around me said it was probably nothing. Several days later, plus a few more tests, I was told there was breast tissue in the tumor on my hip. How in the world could that have happened, you might ask? Well, I contacted my physician's office and spoke with the RN on duty about 5 months prior and described a lump that I found in my breast. I was told not to worry because it didn't sound like anything serious and an appointment was unnecessary at that time. The RN was wrong. As it turns out, I had a tumor slightly larger than, well, let's just say I had a very, very large tumor in my left breast. No time to dwell. Less than 2 weeks from diagnosis, I had surgery, followed by 2 weeks of recovery and 3 weeks of radiation. I then received 5 months of weekly chemotherapy and lost my toenails and my hair and gained 40 pounds. That was the worst of it for me, 40 pounds that I had lost just prior to diagnosis. I've been told on numerous occasions that my diagnosis is chronic and I'll never be in remission. Lucky for me, I like my infusion nurse very much, Sharon, because I intend to take many more trips into MGH every 3 weeks to get her septin and other miscellaneous treatments. I expect to celebrate many more birthdays. The word chronic doesn't scare me. Diabetes is chronic, as is heart disease, and in some cases bronchitis and many other illnesses. But all are endurable. My doctors are incredibly compassionate and very intelligent, and I understand their reservation around using words like remission, cure, and survival. On the other hand, I am incredibly optimistic, and my optimism outweighs their intelligence and compassion. I will beat cancer. I've accepted my diagnosis, and though I've struggled to incorporate it into my life on certain occasions, for the most part, I've made the necessary changes to adapt to this new way of living. I will not accept mediocrity or defeat. I made a promise to refuse to let cancer control my lifestyle, steal my independence, or punish my spirit. It is cancer, not a death sentence, and this too shall pass. Cancer may cause a patient to become a victim, or it can create an opportunity for a patient to rediscover the vast and endless precious moments life has to offer. Fortunately, my diagnosis brought out the latter. I realize this was quite lengthy, so thank you for giving me the time to read this speech. And as my motto says, bring it on. Thank you.
At this point, I'd also like to turn to another cancer survivor. Jamie came to us at the very beginning of this relay, and I knew immediately we needed to have him at this ceremony. So inspirational. He shared the poem that he's going to be reading right now to all of you with us. So, Jamie Zanaboni.
Thank you, Joe. Wow, that was a wonderful speech. Boy, I'm like breathless now to read my own here. But guys, let's get a big round of applause for that last speech. What do you say? Give a round of applause. That was really, boy, I tell you. So quickly, before I get into my poem, which is very short, again, just want to reiterate the whole thing about the Relay for Life is, as I'm an 8-year cancer survivor, and I didn't get my second year. A friend was in Watertown. They had a team, and they were doing a celebration. And I was asked to go down and help out, like a day like this, a Friday afternoon, set up. I said, okay, what's it about? Oh, we Relay for Life for cancer. Okay, sure, I'll help out. Only my colleague from work knew I was a cancer survivor. I show up at a place like this, I'm setting up the tables, and I was told, go to that survivor tent. I said, for what? Well, you're a survivor. I go, nobody needs to know that. I don't want to go near that tent. I don't want to know that, nice people there. No, thank you. And I was only 2 years in remission. I wanted nobody to know that I had cancer. Well, sure enough, I was convinced I had to go over there. The gentleman standing there, and I said, okay, I get a free T-shirt, a piece of pizza? Okay, I'll sign up. And then this guy puts his arm around me, goes, will you do a lap with me? I go, okay, what else am I signing up for here? All right, the pizza and the shirt, 1 lap. I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And that was the first lap we'll be doing very shortly. And I'll tell you, I probably made it halfway around, and the first thing I couldn't understand is all these people standing there clapping for us. It's like, what are they clapping for? And this nice lady next to me, she's like, oh, honey, they're clapping for us. I said, oh, that's great. I go, boy, it's hot out here. I don't know if I can make it another lap. And she's like, oh, honey, by the third time, you get used to it. And I'm like, geez, hey, I think you're around when Kennedy was still, the other Kennedy was in office, but I was like, yeah, I think I can make 3 laps if you can. She wasn't talking about the laps. She was talking about her third battle with cancer. By the time I made 3/4 around the lap, I started losing it. Crying, everything. I'm like, she's telling me, honey, it's okay, you get used to it. I go, and then she looked at me and said, oh, the doctor told you that you're cured. No, you're not. And it was at that point, by the time we finished that lap, and I thanked her. And at this point, again, she had a few years on me, okay? And she's holding me up because I can't make it to the finish line because I couldn't believe that this disease didn't go away and that I could come back at any time. But she gave me that inspiration to walk that lap, and I did another lap with her, and I told her how much I thanked her because now I wasn't really afraid of this disease as much. I say that because 2 weeks ago, I was rushed back into my local physician's office being told that I need to have an emergency colonoscopy for the second time in under 8 months. For any of you who've ever done a colonoscopy, not a fun experience, but I do recommend getting it done once every 5 years. So my second, again, I was looking forward to this, and how ironic, I'm happy to say that the test came back negative. So thank God I'm here in good spirits. So with that being said, let me just quickly wrap this up as we all begin to take our first ceremonial lap together. This poem really just dictates to you what it was like those several years ago when I did that first lap. And again, I'm going to dedicate this poem to my wife, Kara, and my 20-month-old daughter, Ella. I don't know where they are, but I love you both. And I also dedicate this to my friends behind me. I haven't met them all yet. We haven't had pizza or yet, but I want to say to all of you, thank you. And thank you for being here, because they're here for us. We should enjoy this. Okay. The title of the poem, Yes, I Am Scared. How do you explain a feeling that cannot be touched, that cannot be heard? You cannot smell it or even see it. Who can explain why you survived and others didn't? Why you faced the better cancer and others didn't? Why must you face each day with that same question, why me? Why cancer? What is it about a man or a woman that makes him or her feel not complete? Simply because part of their anatomy has been lost? Where can you go to share the pain? Where can you go to share those memories? the stories of courage, the stories of survival. When does this feeling of self-pity, this feeling of helplessness, this feeling of giving up depart your everyday thinking? I ask you, when does that desire to fight, live life, and understand that when this disease does come around, this day will be okay? Cancer survivors can answer why you survived. Cancer survivors know what it's like to have survived. And cancer survivors walk as one voice at the Relay for Life. Cancer survivors, as you, explain to me as we walk this first lap that they too share all those same feelings. They know that we are messengers for awareness and fundraisers to find a cure. Yes, I am scared. Yes, I am ready to fight. Yes, I am a survivor, and I'm lucky to be here to share my story. Survivor of testicular cancer, May 2002. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'm going to invite Tom Sears up. Tom Sears has been incremental with bringing something new to Relay for Life this year. This year, we have the rare opportunity to have be an enrollment site for the Cancer Prevention Study 3. Due to our success last year, Wilmington was chosen to host this, and Tom stepped up to run this great enrollment set up for the Cancer Prevention Study 3. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom just to give you a quick overview about the Cancer Prevention Study 3 and what the enrollment is today and how you can get involved.
Thank you, Joe. As Joe said, we are very fortunate here today in the town of Wilmington to have what no other town around us has. You have to go all the way to Wakefield to participate in a cancer prevention study. Name the other towns around you today and they don't have what we have here today. Very simply put, I can read to you off the brochure what is a cancer prevention study. Well, if you're between the ages of 30 and 65, never been diagnosed with cancer, willing to give a lifetime commitment of approximately 20 years and donate a little blood, we'll take you at our tent and we'll enroll you into the cancer prevention study. But in my mind, it's more than that. I look amongst all of you and I see faces I know, and you know me, and you know why I'm here. History is about to be made in this town today. I'm not from around these woods, but I'm proud to say I'm here today with all of you to participate in this cancer prevention study. What is it really about? These people right here. It's about us not forgetting their fight, not forgetting what they went through, and willing to make a difference in the fight against cancer. All I'm going to ask is that you take the time to stop by the tent, and we'll tell you all about it. And after you leave here today, every other year for approximately 45 minutes, you'll complete another survey. It's a little more detailed. 45 minutes every other year. Can you do that? I think you can. You know why? Think about it. 45 minutes every other year. 12 weeks of chemo, 17 doses of radiation, months and months of treatment. It's nothing for us to do what we can do to never forget what they've been through. See?
We have two speakers here to talk to you tonight about their relationship to cancer. So how has it impacted their lives? And after their speeches, we are going to invite people onto the track one at a time. Last year we had people stepping onto the track at their own campsites. This year, something that I saw in Burlington that was extremely powerful is to have everybody step onto the track in the same location and have the whole group of us walking together around the track. So what I would ask is, when we ask you to step onto the track based on your relationship to cancer, to step towards the 50-yard line here and start lining up and wrap around. And then we're going to be led by bagpipes around for the first lap. So with that, I am going to introduce our first speaker for the evening, Suzanne Polizzi Newell. Thank you.
Hello, this is my second relay, and I would just like everyone to know that the Luminaria ceremony is the most special part of the evening to me, and I have very fond memories of it from last year. The American Cancer Society Relay for Life is more than just an event to me. It is my personal opportunity to honor my daddy, John Polizzi, and many other loved ones that I have lost to the terrible, horrible disease of cancer. My dad was the best daddy and friend I could have ever asked for. We were always together and always had fun. In February 2008, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung and brain cancer extremely unexpectedly. The doctors told him he would only survive a couple of weeks at the most. However, he stayed strong and motivated and stayed with us for 6 months, as he knew how important it was for me and my husband Jimmy to have him at our wedding day. My dad was a part of our wedding day. He passed just a few short hours after our ceremony. It breaks my heart every day when I think of what my dad had to go through in his battle with cancer. It breaks my heart every day that my dad is not right here next to me and to my mom. It breaks my heart every day that cancer exists. Though my time with my dad was cut very short, very unexpectedly, I can feel his love and support every day, and it's feelings like these that inspire me to do such things as the Relay for Life. It's heartbreaking to see how much cancer has hurt so many of my other loved ones as well, and has taken so many people away from me and my family and friends. What's even more heartbreaking is that so many other people have had the same thing happen to them and their family. It's hard to think of someone who is somehow not affected by cancer. And if you happen to be one of those people, you're pretty lucky. I'm so honored to be here this weekend and to be able to be a part of the largest cancer fighting movement in the world. I can't think of a more appropriate time for my team, the neighborhood, to pay tribute to my dad, with tomorrow being my parents' 34th wedding anniversary and Sunday being Father's Day. This is just one out of hundreds of stories that are here today. Each story is unique and special, yet they all join us here today with the desire to pay tribute to our loved ones that have passed because of cancer, give support to those currently battling their fight, and honor those that have survived. I hope everyone enjoys their time here and makes the most of it, and that we all continue to fight cancer together.
At this moment, I'd like to introduce Charlie DiStefano. Charlie? Charlie is on the Sons of Italy team.
Thank you, Joe. Oop. In keeping with the ideals and principles of the Order Sons of Italy in America and supporting our local community and charities, the Wilmington Sons of Italy is proud to be a sponsor of the Luminaria ceremony of this year's Wilmington Relay for Life. As a participant in last year's Relay for Life, I was so emotionally moved with the solemnity of the Luminaria ceremony and the Survivor ceremony that it has made a lasting impression on me. Sadly, in November of last year, our beloved sister Mary Lou Ritchie, one of our team members from last year's Relay, passed away from pancreatic cancer. Mary was a sweetheart of a lady and became quite active in our lodge right from the start when she joined our lodge in February of 2001. Mary served on both our lodge council and at various lodge activities. Mary especially enjoyed working with our juniors in our newly formed junior lodge. It was right after the untimely passing of Mary that I, as president of our lodge, suggested to our membership that we honor Mary and all our lodge cancer survivors by donating all the profits of our annual Easter Bunny breakfast to this year's Wilmington Relay for Life. The response of our membership was overwhelming in favor of donating to the relay. Thank you. Then in April, we at the lodge were struck again. Our beloved sister Ellen Martin, a very active member of our lodge since joining the lodge in October of 1990. Ellen, who served at various positions on our lodge council and also co-chaired numerous lodge activities, passed away on April 21st after battling stage 4 cancer for 5 years. Ellen, as sick as she was over the years, never had a bad word to say to anyone. Ellen's whole world revolved around her 4 grandchildren, who she loved immensely. Even with the endless weekly treatments, Ellen always had a smile on her face and always had a positive outlook on life. In fact, she often joked that the Leahy Clinic was going to name a wing after her. One of Ellen's proudest moments as a member of the Wilmington Sons of Italy was her participation in last year's Wilmington Relay for Life. With cheering and encouragement from her sister Barbara and daughters Leanne and Deneen, Ellen was able to complete the cancer survivor's lap at the start of the relay, smiling from ear to ear. I am hoping that my successors to our lodge will continue to support the Wilmington Relay for Life in the future, so that one day we will finally find a cure to this dreaded disease and everyone will be able to celebrate many more birthdays. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for sharing your stories with us tonight. At this point, I'll bring Adele and Dave up. They're 2 of our committee members. And we'll continue on with the ceremony. We will invite you onto the track. Again, I ask everyone to come onto this side of the track. At this point, if we could have everybody step off of the track and head into the infield, and then we'll invite you back on at certain points. Thank you. And then we'll start this walk, and please respect this walk. Everyone, this is an emotional part of relay, and everyone will deal with this in their own way. And when the lights come back up, we'll change the mood a little bit with some music. Thank you.
If your husband or wife has had cancer, please step onto the track.
If your mother or father has had cancer, please join the track.
If your son or daughter has had cancer, please step onto the track.
If your grandmother or your grandfather has had cancer, please step onto the track.
If your granddaughter or your grandson has been affected by cancer, please step onto the track.
If your aunt or uncle has had cancer, please join the track.
If your niece or nephew has had cancer, please step onto the track.
If your cousin or other family member has had cancer, please join the track.
If your friend or neighbor has had cancer, please step onto the track.
If your coworker or your classmate has had cancer, please join the track.
At this time, just please start walking for the Luminaria lap. Thank you.